Main event from Madison Square Garden in New York, a 10-round welterweight bout from Paterson, New Jersey, at 147 pounds, Vince Martinez, versus from Stamford, Connecticut, at 148 pounds, Chico Vejar. And from the neutral corner, your host, the undefeated world's heavyweight champion, Rocky Marciano, sparring with the voice that has made millions of fans, the master of song, the king himself, Nat King Cole.
And my guest, a man who I know needs no introduction, the king himself, Nat King Cole.
Thanks, Rock. How you feel?
Just fine.
Say, look here. What about this picture up here with you and Eisenhower?
Yeah, that's got a funny story to it, Nate. Joe DiMaggio was a big celebrity in my neighborhood. He was the biggest thing that ever hit baseball, you know, and I didn't realize it until this picture was taken, though. I had just won the title and was invited down to visit with the president, along with 50 other athletes who were making the news at the time. And the president didn't get a chance to see the boys in that particular field, so he invited us down to have lunch. Great big moment in my life. In the process, this picture was taken. DiMaggio was right aside of the president, myself. And when I went back home to Brockton, Mass., I very proudly walked into my neighborhood club. I had just come back being with the president, walk into the clubhouse, and one old Italian guy kind of brushed his mustache and says, Marciano thinks he's a big shot now. Just had his picture taken with DiMaggio.
Oh, you forgot all about that other fellow in the middle, huh?
That's right.
Yeah, it's a pretty wild-looking tie you have on there, too.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
And Nate, I was lucky enough to catch you one night in California. My bride and I walked in at the Hollywood Bowl, and a strange thing happened. We come in there, and there must have been 20, 30,000 people watching the great king come on the stage, and a big hush fell over the whole stadium. I mean, you could hear a pin drop, and it's remarkable because in boxing, we realize how good we are by the noise the fans make.
Yeah, it is funny how that is an opposition there, because as a fighter approaches the ring, you know, the whole thing is going. But you see, in our particular business, the quieter the audience is at a particular time that we are performing, it is a great tribute to an artist. And sometimes they can get too quiet, though. You know, sometimes I wonder whether they're out there, you know. But I can see the contrast, because particularly a place like the Hollywood Bowl, which is a very lovely place. I play there every year, and I enjoy it very much.
I bet you do. I felt I had goose pimples when I saw all these people just quieting down, and the king come on and just knew what to do and how to take over, but they made a lot of noise when you're all through.
But you know, the only thing about the Hollywood Bowl, you know, out there on the stage, I feel like a picture postcard.
Did you ever want to be a fighter?
No, but I tell you what, I tried it a couple of
times.
Did you? When I was a kid, I used to practice around with my cousin. You know, he used to be a little amateur fighting at times around a little place in Chicago called the Savoy Ballroom. And I used to train with him until he'd hit me pretty hard, and then all of a sudden I'd hit him and knock him down. You know, I ended up being the best fighter of the group. But actually, no, but I tell you what, I became so interested in fighting that just recently, a couple of months ago, I signed up a fighter.
You did?
Yes, a boy by the name of Gene Johns. Nice-looking kid. And Harry Wiley is the race trainer.
Yeah.
You know him.
Very good.
Well, Harry's the one who discovered the kid, and he's been training him, and Harry brought him to me, and so we went down to the commissioner's office and signed him up.
Hey, that's great. You know, I'm going to keep my eye on this kid now, and...
You may see me in the corner any day on television with my sweater on.
If he ever gets to fight for the title, will you sing the Star Spangled Banner for him?
Oh, yes, if I can remember the words that night.
That would be great, having the king sing the Star Spangled Banner for the championship.
I did sing the Star Spangled Banner in the World Series in Chicago when the White Sox were playing the Dodgers. And, I was belting this song out pretty good. And when I walked back up to the press box after it was over, the guy said, "Oh, you did a wonderful job." And one guy in the press box said, "You know, you sang the wrong word." And I said, "What was it?" He said, "You say, oh, the land, or the, instead of saying, oh, the land and of the free, I say, on the land and the sea." And they put it on the teletype, and this thing started going all over the country. And so I was a little frustrated about it, because I had rehearsed this thing right down to the last wire. But the night of the night, if my fighter ever gets into a championship fight, I don't think I'll be able to sing that
No,
night.
you'll be too excited. Here's the bell for the main event. This is one we've all been waiting for. The main event. Vince Martinez, Chico Vejar. The critics think Vince will have an easy time because he's a 4-to-1 favorite tonight. Madison Square Garden, 1953. Let me tell you about it as I saw it. Martinez in black, Vejar in white. And watch this close because Chico always has an awful lot of trouble in the first couple of rounds. They boxed 2 years ago. Vejar won, a real big upset. But he's on leave from the Army now, and I think he could be silly taking a fight this tough. Chico has to be rusty. He could get smashed up. When he comes out of the service, he won't even have a career left. Vejar's manager, Steve Ellis, used to be a television sportscaster. Ellis actually announced a couple of Vejar's fights. Then one night, Chico got flattened in front of Ellis, and the guy lost his voice. They had to have another announcer the next time. Good right hand. He tripped over Vejar's right foot. Chico, this guy loves room. Don't give him so much of it. Close it up. Look at Martinez. You're letting him do what he wants. Don't let go of him, Chico. Will you get your head down low? This thing is going to end right here if you don't. Vejar goes back to trainer Freddie Brown in the corner. Talk to him, Freddie. He's gonna get taken out. Look at this Martinez. He's got a guy hurt and he just stands off and looks at him. If the other fellow is hurt, you have to go right into him. This is a tough business. You're crazy if you get an edge and don't use it. This is more like it. That's it. Move in, Chico. It's a chance. If I were Vejar, I'd be standing on Martinez's toes all night. I'd make him think he was fighting in a telephone booth. I can't see giving him this much room. There you go. He's gonna keep going. He has to take an automatic 8 count. Don't take a step until you got those hands way up. Sometimes a guy's a little dizzy and he forgets to do it. Martinez's style is to stay off like this and look for pot shots. He should be coming in. But this is boxing for you. He can't change even if he wanted to. The style is like having a wife. You're stuck with it, brother. Stay in there, Chico. He doesn't do much inside. Martinez to his corner. Manager Bill Daly comes in to talk to him. Nat, what do you think of this fight so far?
Wow, what a pace that Vejar's setting.
He sure surprised everybody in this fight. This was one of his greatest. Vejar tries to step it up. He needs every one of these rounds to win it. And you'd better do some body punching too, Chico. You've been forgetting all about that. Vince keeps going away from those punches. I think this guy wants to go the whole 10 rounds without even getting his hair mussed. Martinez, you're not doing enough with this kid. He's starting to come on a little. Better do something. Don't let him get the idea he can do this every round. It'll make him a lot harder to fight. Vejar going back for a little water and a few seconds of rest. Chico Vejar in white, Vince Martinez in black. Vince is ahead up to now, but this round could turn the fight upside down. Stick him with that left, Vince. Don't let him get off on you. Vince hasn't changed his pattern an inch. He's waiting for Vejar to come in. Then he'll go back and counter with that left. He must be getting tired. That jab knocked him way back. In before you throw. You can't hit him from that far out. Right to the body by Chico. That's it. Now let's see who won it. I have to give it to Vince Martinez, but you never know. Announcer Johnny Addy says Martinez the winner, and a good fast fight too. Here's a kid, Vince Martinez, had all the potentials of being a champion. He was at his best, and because he had the ring-wise experience, he was able to beat a better fighter.
Well, that's your business.
Nat, you're there. You're one of the most main eventers. You've learned to keep punching to make it. This pair of golden gloves is just a reminder to you and your friends to keep punching and always stay there.
Well, Rocky, I will take this and hang it up in my den.
Great.
Thank you.
You bet. The bigger they are, the nicer they are. And you can make it as easily as they did. Just remember, keep your left hand high, chin down, and keep punching.
From Madison Square Garden, a 10-round middleweight bout. From Philadelphia at 158 pounds, Joey Giardello. Versus Washington, D.C. at 161 pounds, Willie Troy. And from a neutral corner, your host, the undefeated world's heavyweight champion, Rocky Marciano, sparring with Mr. What's My Line, John Daly.
Yes, John, I'd like to ask you something. How could I get rid of this accent just a little bit? I mean, I like it, but sometimes I get embarrassed when I'm talking to a group of fellas, you know, and I say, I just parked the car down at the square.
Well, actually, Rocky, don't ever get rid of it because it's distinctive and it's part of you, and to lose it would be a tragic mistake. Family was a Boston family. He went to MIT, mining engineer and geologist, and then went to South Africa, so I was born in South Africa. But when he died when I was 9 years old, and we came back to Boston, then I went to school in Tilton, New Hampshire, and then went to college in Boston, and I came to the United States with an English accent. And then all those years in Boston and New England, I picked up another bad habit. The words that end in A, I've always pronounced as though they end in ER, and I get a lot of criticism about it. I tried to break it, and I found I put so much effort into trying to correct it that I was doing damage to the other areas of pronunciation. Don't worry about that accent. It's not only distinctive, but remember that there's another man of some prominence who's got it. He's the President of the United States. You're in like Flynn. I haven't got anything to worry about.
John, after dinner speaking, I'm getting to do quite a bit of that lately, and I could use some help.
Your hands shake and you perspire.
Very, very much of this man.
Your mind's a little confused, and what you plan to say is all mixed up. And congratulations, I have the same trouble. That's
not
good.
you.
Yes, Rocky, I don't do much of it because it scares the daylights out of me. The thing you have to remember was when you're out speaking to the public, remember one thing, you've got everything with you when you start. They've come because they want to see you. They've come because they want to know you better. And if you're just be yourself, you don't have to worry about anything else. Nothing else at all.
John, as a sportsman, what is your best sport, or what do you like best?
Well, it's nice of you to put it that way, Rocky. Let's see, I'm a bad golfer. I'm a bad tennis player. I'm a medium bad swimmer. I used to be a track man when I was younger. Won one race somewhere or the other. I've forgotten where it was, though. But I'm one of those guys. I always lose. I'm what you call a loser, but I have a lot of fun out of it anyway. Well, Rock, you've been picking my brains. A bit ago you did anyway, or what passes for my brain. After dinner speaking, I want to pick yours. You know, I suppose like most Americans my age, men, I haven't had a fist fight since I was 10 or 11, and that wasn't much of a fight. I swung once, and he swung once. We both ran in opposite directions. But I read somewhere that if, and I want to prepare myself. You never tell when you could get in one of these things. I read somewhere that the thing to do is to get in close. Is that right?
Exactly. In fact, put your head right here on the other fellow's chest, and he just won't be able to hit you real good because it takes about that much room to really hit a man, and I don't see how he's going to get that room, you know, where you're in so close. Whereas the stepping away and far-reaching away from a man just leaves that much room for a fella to connect.
Well, now that I've got this counsel, you see, I'll probably go out and pick a fight. And then when they take me down to the station, I say, Rocky told me to do it.
There's the bell for the main event, a 10-round contention middleweight bout between Joey Giardello and Willie Troy. Troy's a 3-to-1 favorite, but the fight's young yet. Madison Square Garden, 1954. Let me tell you about it as I saw it. Referee Al Burl talks to both Giardello and Troy. On styles, this should be murderous. These are two punchers who go for the knockout every time. That's Giardello in the white, Troy in the black. And watch these two every second. The way they hit, somebody could get carried out any time. This was the fight Giardello's managers didn't want, but matchmaker Billy Brown threw an all-day party for them. They got so woozy they wound up signing. They didn't need a win over Troy, and it's a dangerous fight. Troy comes out of Washington. He was working unloading trucks, but there were so many arguments ended by Willie's right hand that his foreman took him to the gym and made a fighter and saved his crew. Giardello is looking for one big shot, and the sooner the better. Troy is awful strong, and he could be cruel in the late rounds. Troy has the reach on Joey, backing him up with that left hand. But don't reach too much with it, Willie. He's looking to get you off balance. A terrific right. Troy is real hurt. He doesn't know enough to stay down and let his head clear. He dropped his right to throw to the body, and he was wide open. Troy's hands are low. Watch it, Willie. Get him up. There you go. Willie doesn't know from anything. Wow. It kills me to see a guy like that. The bell saves him. Start breaking those ammonia capsules under his nose. This guy's in a fog. Ooh, Willie, that right to the body. Throw it like that and you'll get wide open. Troy's legs don't seem bad. If you keep that left out and moves, he might come out of this. I hope so. I hate to see a guy get a beating. Oh, look at him. He's gone for the weekend. Here's Troy coming right in. This is the way you're supposed to go. Win, lose, or draw, hurt or not, you got to go right into the other guy. Joey's looking for one big shot, but he's letting Troy's head clear, and he's going to pay for that. This Troy is strong. If he gets going, he'll give Giardello 10 kinds of trouble. See? Good hook by Willie. Troy's crowding him, and Joey is going back to get room. John, what do you think of this fight so far?
Well, Rocky, it looks like an upset, as Troy was in there as a favorite, and he's been down, see, 1, 2, 3 times. But, you know, I remember a fight you had, one of the great fights of all time with Walcott, and you were down in the first round, and if I remember correctly, you had a little trouble with a few that came after it, too, but you went on to win the fight.
You are so right, John. Troy has a chance, but there's plenty of fight left.
Each hour's quota must be filled. If there aren't more volunteers for Saturday, it will be mandatory.
That's Joey Giardello in white, Willie Troy in black, and Willie looks real strong right now. I haven't seen a fighter come back like Troy has. Joey better start thinking about pacing. This could be a long fight. Before the fight, they did a lot of talking to Troy in the dressing room. Beat this guy and you'll be on top for years, they told him. He came into the ring ready to go through anything to win. Giardello didn't catch him square then. Willie's starting to duck under those punches the way he should. Keep it up, Willie. He rolled real good then. Giardello isn't trying many feints on Troy. It would do wonders for him if he'd start nodding that head around. He keeps it too still. He hurt Giardello in the body again. Giardello is going crazy. He can't keep the guy off him. Here he goes to the corner and he's worried. And here's his managers. What are they going to say to him now? Notice Joey keep moving to his left. He wants to nail this guy with a hook. Joey, this fight is going against you right now. You'd better change what you're doing. Try that left hand to the body. Slow this guy right here, or he's going to be murder. Troy is taking advantage of his left hand. He's knocking Giardello off balance with it. Troy slipped that punch real good. Joey isn't stepping in with his punches because every time he does, Troy nails him to the belly. But it's wrong to stay out there. So what if it hurts? That's what you're in business for. You got to get hurt before you win. That's more like it. When you come in, you do much better, Joey. Here's what I was talking about. Look at Giardello. He's hardly moving. He could be getting real tired. Look out. Joey Giardello in white, Willie Troy in black. Giardello's been going into the ropes too much. Get in the middle of the ring and stay there, Joey. He's too tough for you inside. Willie, you're dropping that right again. There you go. He's real hurt now. The legs are wobbly. Willie, please get those hands up. Ooh. They always said you gotta shoot Troy with a gun before he stops coming in. And they're right. Look at this guy forced to fight. He's doing it all on instinct. There's that hook. Look at that. Joey threw that punch from the side. This guy has him crazy. He just won't go down again. Look at Giardello bend from that right to the side. Troy has his ribs on fire. What a right. There he goes. Referee Burl calls for the doctor. Troy is badly hurt. Here's Dr. Giardello. Troy's corner says he's fine. You gotta be half dead before the corner stops a fight on you. They'd send you out there with one arm. They don't get hurt. He's letting it go on, but he's telling the referee to stop it if Troy gets into trouble once more. Go right after him, Willie. Come on. It's the only chance you got to pull it out. Punch at the guy. Keep him going back. He's through now. Let's stop it. Break it up before he goes down. That's it. Joey's corner hugs him. They should. Brother, did he bail them out. If he lost this one, they would have had to disappear.
Well, Rocky, you were right. You were absolutely right. It was an upset. Why?
John, Troy was a stylist. He looked good in the middle of that ring. But what's exciting about this fight game is when you get hit on the potato, your good style can go out of style.
Well, Rocky, just one thing, remember. Stay in close. Be in great shape then.
And keep punching, John. John, you've been in the main event ring for a long time. You now know about infighting, but you always knew the rule of punching. This memento will remind you, always keep punching.
Well, Rocky, thank you very much. It's very nice indeed. It will remind me always to stay in close and to keep punching. And I think that it's a philosophy that is usable in many other places than the ring. And I will always be reminded not only of a friendship with you that I treasure, but also the rule of thumb that you gave me to help life be a little simpler and a little bit more pleasant. Thanks a lot.
Thank you, John. The bigger they are, the nicer they are. And you could make it as easily as they did if you remember to keep your hands high, chin down, and keep punching.
From Yankee Stadium in New York, a 15-round bout for the heavyweight championship of the world. From Brockton, Massachusetts, at 187.5 pounds, Rocky Marciano. Versus from Cincinnati, Ohio, at 185.5 pounds, Hazard Charles. And from a neutral corner, your host, the undefeated world heavyweight champion, Rocky Marciano, starring with a new Hollywood middleweight and a prime contender for the heavyweight Oscar title, Tony Franciosa.
And my guest, a special guest, I have a big reason for inviting him here to be on my show, Tony Franciosa. I saw him work in a picture where he played the part of a fighter, and Tony, you were so impressive as a fighter that I just had to get to you somehow and ask you, would you please look over my story? It's just been completed, and I'd love to have you play the part of the fighter.
You?
Me.
Really?
You know why?
Why?
My wife says I look like you.
You mean around the stomach? No, Rocky, are you serious?
Really, I'm very serious, Tony. You were just great.
Well,
and,
I could never be as great as you are in the ring, believe me. But it would be a great honor, Rocky, believe me, because I've always admired you tremendously as a fighter.
Thank you,
And
Tony.
as a man, I admire you even more. Well, listen, Rocky, if, you know, there's a thing that I've been thinking about a long time. Whenever I've watched fights on film or watched fights on television, how would an actor really be able to create this? Now, I know, of course, you never fought for exhibition, but how would an actor be able to create the illusion of realism in terms of hitting someone?
Well, you know, Tony, a fighter doesn't get hurt with every punch. Now, sometimes he'll take a wicked punch to the body, and the crowd goes, ooh, that must have hurt. And actually, it doesn't even hurt. Tone, let's stand up. Maybe I can explain a couple of things to you about, you know, some punches, how they feel, and...
Yeah, well, take it easy.
Okay. Number one, a place that hurts the most is right in here. If you ever got hit in here, just 6 inches, it could double you right up.
Solar plexus right here.
And it hurts so badly I can't hardly explain it to you. There's a spot right here that if you had to land a good clean punch right in there somewhere, you can just cave them in.
Right in the kidney?
Yes, right in the kidney. And that's a terrible pain.
The problem is, for example, you know, I've seen fighters in a show where they'll throw a punch, it's, you know, they'll just keep throwing punches like that, but it doesn't come from the, you know, like the whole psychology of going through the guy, you know, just going through. Now, the thing
Perfect, Tone. Great. Great.
Well, you know, a fighter showed me when I did the TV show, but now the problem was that I could hit the fighter because he was a professional fighter, and for some strange reason, he didn't mind being hit. I guess because he's been used to it, and I haven't. So I was able to hit him, but when he had to hit me, he had to create it was much more difficult for him to create the impression that it was real because of the fact that he had to really hit me. He couldn't just do the thing and yet pretend, you know, back away from it, you know, that the body wasn't, you know, tight in terms of a real fight. So the problem was really with the professional fighter and doing it with the actor. It's a very interesting thing. I sit down, I'm worn out.
Tony, it's like in wrestling. Sometimes you know whether a wrestler's really getting hurt or whether they're just playing around.
Mm-hmm. Now, a wrestler who's usually a very big, hulking man and looks tremendously strong, most of them can take a punch. Now, what is that? Is that psychological, or is that actually physical training that they haven't gone through? Now, is it the psychology play a strong element in a fighter as to whether he's able to take a punch or not?
Yes, it does, Tony. In fact, I remember Jake LaMotta telling us that he just believed that nobody could ever hurt him.
Mm-hmm.
He just believed it.
Mm-hmm.
And no one ever did hurt him, he claimed. And I think that it plays a big, important part in psychology.
I bet it does. Because the interesting thing about fighters, Rocky, I've always been a great admirer of fighters. Now, I've heard many, many criticisms about fighting and the fight game. And I think the fight game deserves a tremendous amount of criticism. But not the boy, not the guy who's fighting. It seems like his environment and the people around the boy deserve the criticism, because the fight game, I consider it a kind of art, because of what the fighter is, a completely dedicated man, completely dedicated. And if I were as dedicated, I think I would be a much better actor. And I think that if a lot of people in their work were as dedicated as a fighter is, I think President Kennedy wouldn't have to talk about the educational thing in the United States being on the level that it is, because that's the amazing thing to me about fighters, their absolute dedication to their work and to themselves and to what they're trying to accomplish. And I think it's marvelous and just beautiful.
Here's the bell for the main event, one of my own, with Ezra Charles. Tony, you're going to get a good look at me in one of my early title fights, and Ezra is no easy target. Yankee Stadium, 1954. Let me tell you about it as I fought it. I'm on the left, Charles is on the right, and I'm glad to get out of the sweaty dressing room into this fresh air. If you're not nervous when you're waiting for the bell, something's wrong with you. It isn't that a fighter's scared, he's just anxious to get started. Tremendous crowd. That's the late General Kilpatrick with General Douglas MacArthur on the right. Leo DeRocher and Lorraine Day. Johnny Addy starts the introductions. Ruby Goldstein, the referee, is in the neutral corner, leaning against the ropes. Charles is hoping to regain the title. He won it in '49 by beating Walcott after Lewis retired. When Lewis came back in '50, Ezra beat him to clinch his claim. Then Jersey Joe won it by knocking out Charles in '51. Jake Mintz, one of Charles' handlers, watches my trainer Charlie Goldman put the gloves on me. Wants to make sure Charlie doesn't slip in a horseshoe. Up to now, no former heavyweight champion ever has won back the title. I hope it stays that way. This is only my third defense of the title, and I haven't had a chance to cash in yet. Looks like he's planning to stay close. I'm not gonna like that. I need room to fire my shots. I'm a little worried. He's a smart, experienced fighter. He had 42 amateur bouts and 60 as a pro before I had my first fight in '47. And this is only my 45th. have to look out for that straight left. He also hooks with it. Oh boy, a nosebleed. Don't tell me I'm going to have trouble with that nose again. Walcott did a job on it in our first fight, and our second fight had to be postponed for a month while I had some repair work done on my schnoz. He's still grabbing me every time I get ready to throw a punch. As long as he doesn't grab back that title, I'm willing to let him waltz me around a little bit. It's early. I can wait to get over a big one. I gotta crouch a little more to bring down his guard and get a clear shot at his jaw. That left wasn't enough. I thought it landed in the right spot, but it didn't seem to bother him any. After Walcott knocked out Charles, as it said, anybody can take you out with the right punch. He's right. I hope I can find one. Who told me this guy has a glass jaw? One of his straight shots with the right hand cut my left eye. I'll have trouble with this. I'm worried about the eye. It takes my mind off the job I have to do. He's a cagey fella. Catches me when I come in. Almost always on the eye. Why can't I weave away from those punches? All I can think about is that awful time I had with the eye against Walcott in Philadelphia. Some medicine got in the eyes, and I couldn't see for half the fight. Who said Charles was strictly a cautious boxer? He has no objections to mixing it. That right cross must have hurt. Or maybe I feel it more now. When you're in there, you just shake your head and keep going. Too busy to feel anything. He hammers away pretty good inside. Just think, this is the third former champion I've fought. But he's younger than Lewis and Walcott. He's only 32, and I'm 30. Tone, what do you think of the fight so far?
Well, when do you start moving, Rock?
Wait a minute, Dad. Hold it, Dad. Pretty soon. That one should move him. That's it. Both hands. That's what did it with Lewis once, Walcott twice. Don't slow down. Belt away. Why doesn't he go down? What's holding him up? His jaw is beginning to swell. That means I've been on the target all right. I'm still throwing punches, and I can't understand it. Getting arm weary, and he's beginning to slip and block a few. Could be his experience that's keeping him alive. This is the 12th time he's been part of a heavyweight championship fight. I never even saw that many. I've got to keep the pressure on. Can't let him recover from those good punches. But he's backing away now, and I'm shot with hooks. He didn't get away from that left. The eye and the nose are bothering me. When you can't see perfectly, you're not as accurate as you'd like to be. Funny thing, we were both a little late getting around to the title. He was 29 when he won it, and so was I. He didn't hold it long, but I'd like to. He's not backing away now, but neither is he falling. I'm developing more and more respect for this guy's ability to take it. Last round. This is the first time I've ever gone the full 15. Weil looked a little worried. I guess he's not used to seeing me go the distance. I hit him a good left, and he wings me with a good right. This is where the road work pays off. If you're up at the bust of dawn every day while you're training, running up and downhill, your legs will carry you 40 rounds. He's grabbing me the way he was in the early round. As long as he clutches me, I can't hit him in the body, let alone the jaw. This is a brawl. My eye is going to need some stitches, but he isn't going to look pretty either. I'm glad we're near the end. That eye had me worried as far back as the 4th round. Most of his important fights, and the decisions have gone his way more often than not. He won 2 15-rounders from Walcott and 1 from Lewis. The crowd is waiting for the decision. Johnny Addy has the cards. My stomach feels a little jump as Johnny begins reading. Jake Mintz, the little fellow with his back to the camera, fainted in the corner the night Charles won the title from Walcott. When Jersey Joe knocked out Ezard, Jake simply blinked. I hope he won't have to faint tonight. Here it is, and still champion. Tough fight for me. I couldn't quite get started until around the 10th when I started to come out of it, and I took over the fight from the 10th to the 15th. The bigger they are, the nicer they are. And you can make it as easy as they did. Just remember, keep your left hand high, chin down, and keep punching.
Marciano, sparring with the immortal Yankee center fielder, gentleman Joe DiMaggio.
Joe, I keep looking at that picture up there with the former president. Great day. It seems like we're always meeting at a testimonial or a benefit. But Joe, on that day, when we sort of lined up in the White House corridor, I was about the 6th guy in line, and you were about the 34th. You were way down the other end, and when the president came by, he spoke to me. I was so nervous, I didn't know what to do. He kept on going around, and he didn't stop at any one athlete. There were 49 of us, but when he got to you, he stopped, shook your hand, and it seemed like about 2 minutes he talked to you personally. What could I ask you what he was saying?
Actually, Rocky, it seemed like 2 minutes, but I guess it was just a few seconds. I, too, was very nervous. I didn't know what he was going to say to me because he had gone on after he shook my hand and then decided to come back to say a few words. And it was, he says, Joe, have you ever been to Paris? And I says, yes. He says, you ever drop into an eating place? And of course, he named a name, and I don't remember. He says, there's a fellow there, it looks just like you. He says, do you remember the place? And I said, no, I'm sorry, Mr. President, I don't. But evidently the fellow is a dead ringer for me.
Joe, he made that one little talk to us, and when he finally said that at one time he wished that he could hit a baseball like you did, and he looked right at Joe, and then he looked right at me and said, and there was a time when I guess I wish I could throw a right hand like you do, and we were the two proudest guys in that group, I think.
I would say so, Rocky, and I must say that I have seen you throw many a right hand. You know, I'm quite a boxing fan myself.
You don't have to tell me, Joe.
I was always to your fights, of course, and to many other fights as well.
Joe, I know you saw a lot of fights because when I was just coming into New York as a preliminary kid, I went to a big fight one night, and you were there, Joe. You were still playing ball, and when they announced your name, there was such a tremendous ovation for you that I remember they were hollering, get in the ring, Joe. They actually wanted you to get into the ring and just to be seen by this huge crowd. And then I found out from the commissioners that that, of course, is not allowed. It has never been done. But I guess the closest time it ever happened is that time you had to fight and they wanted you to get up
I
there.
remember that very well. That was at the Polo Grounds.
Right, that's right, Joe. Mm-hmm. Joe, I've been seeing young Joe Jr. in the paper, his picture in the paper. He looks real strong and healthy, and I noticed that he's a football player.
That's right, Rocky. He's going to college up at New Haven, and he has got himself interested in football, of all things. And I say of all things for the simple reason that he's not a big fella. He's only 160 pounds, and of all places he's playing around the line, center and guard. Well, you know what chance he might stand around there. But he's very interested in football, and he loves the sport. But just recently I had him down at spring training, at the Yankee training camp, and he was working out for the first time in a Yankee uniform. And after working out for about 10 days, he came up to me and says, you know, Dad, he says, I'm getting a baseball bug. Because he's 19 years old, and I feel that it might be a little too late for him now to start in baseball.
It really would, Joe, be too late. You know, in boxing, a heavyweight can start real late. You know, I was fighting when I was 22. I was still in the amateurs. When I turned 23, I turned professional, and of course I retired when I was 33. But in heavyweights especially, you can go in late because you mature much later than the other fighters, like the lightweights, the welterweights.
I guess so, Rocky, maybe in boxing, but in baseball, I think you'd have to start quite young. I know I did. I started ever since, I could remember, I think maybe around 6 years old, around the North Beach playground. And I must say that that's when I got my early start. However, I didn't start to play real in earnest when I was 16 or 17 years old.
Joe, I feel so good, so young, so full of pep, and you look like a kid of about 32. What do a couple of old-timers like us do from now on in?
Well, when it comes to sports, the only thing that I could think of, Rocky, is to play a little golf.
I'm with you.
So anytime you want to start a match, let's get together.
There's the bell for the main event. A featherweight bout with Percy Bassett against Lulu Perez. These two are the two top contenders for a shot at the crown, now held by Sandy Sadler. Madison Square Garden, 1954. Let me tell you about it as I saw it. That's Percy Bassett on the left in white trunks. Lulu Perez is in black. This is a big one. The winner gets a shot at the featherweight title. Lulu slipped that right real good. This is a fast kid, but he could be making a mistake right away. He should walk in right into Bassett and show him who's boss. Stop going back, Lulu. A truant officer in Brooklyn got Perez into boxing. he came to Andy Gregory, the trainer, and told him, I got a kid I got to get off my hands. Every time we get him in school, he beats somebody up. Take him, will you? Gregory did. Now they're down in the corner praying he can ruin Bassett, too. Bassett comes out of Philadelphia. The minute the other kids learned his first name, Percy had to learn how to fight. Good move by Bassett. Right to the body, same hand to the head. That's a pro. I don't like Lulu on the rope so much. Bassett is way stronger. Lulu's showing too much respect for this guy's punch. This is for big money, kid. He's feeling bigger every step he takes. Get off on him, Lulu. Get him thinking about how hard you can hit. Mental condition means so much in this game. Lulu keeps trying to duck and run. He isn't giving Bassett anything to worry about. Just get that left foot close and bang away. There you go. Perez keeps trying to get distance. I don't know what's happening to him. He's usually a cocky kid. A 3-1 favorite, too. But he seems to be tight. Ooh, a real left hook. The hook again. Perez isn't setting himself to punch, and he's not moving forward when he punches. That sounds like a simple thing to do. You'd be surprised how many fighters forget it. Bassett is punching good and sharp. It takes years to learn how to put power behind these little shots, but he does it. He can't tie Percy up inside. Bassett ought to make his whole fight there. He can bust up Perez in there. Lulu goes back to the corner, and they'd better talk to him. He's not making his fight. Notice Bassett lets him lead with that light left. Then he comes right in under it. Bassett just eats those punches, Lulu. You better set yourself and bang this guy good. That's the only way to keep him off. Lulu keeps his hands low and tries to bend away from punches. Only he's zigging right into them. Bassett came in here with confidence. I'm a 3-to-1 underdog, he said. Bet my purse. We'll get paid 3 times. He's fighting like it, too. What do you think of this fight so far?
Rocky, I have never seen two fighters so evenly matched.
Just wait. If Lulu doesn't do something right here, I've got to think he's in for a beating. Stand up to this guy, Lulu. Bassett seems way faster now, but mostly it's because Perez is slower. Perez just wouldn't go down. He came in here in great shape and with a big heart. He's just not going to go down. When a guy makes up his mind like that, believe me, it's next to impossible to do it. Get out of there, Bassett. You don't belong on the ropes. Just in time. Percy Bassett in white, Perez in black. Keep him off you, Lulu. Stick with the left. This kid looks dead tired now. Let me tell you, that's the worst feeling in the world. Nobody can help you. Bassett has a cut on his right eye. It doesn't matter now. No knockdown. He was way off balance, but it shows you his legs are starting to go. Anytime a guy starts slipping late in the fight, it means he's tired. Bassett's strong as a bull. The best thing in the world he can do is stay calm. I think Perez is shot. He doesn't have a thing left. It's going to take a lot of luck for him to get through the next round. Don't go away from this guy, Lulu. Step in closer to him. It's much safer in close. Lulu keeps trying to hang on to Bassett's left. That's been Bassett's best shot. There you go. A left hook to the belly did it, and look at this Perez. He could quit right now, and nobody would mind. But here he is. He wants more. Grab him. Hold. Try and get through this round. Bassett's too anxious. He hasn't gotten in a solid blow. But you're going after him right, Percy. Keep swinging. Lulu can't do anything but give ground, and his legs aren't going to let him do that much longer. The round's nearly over, but I don't know how anybody in his right mind can let Lulu come out for the 12th. The bell, and Perez Connor has a big decision to make. But here's Dr. Nardiello making it for them. It's all over. Referee Al Burl ends it right here. And here's Percy Bassett. He just put himself in line for the most important money of his life. Joe, this Percy Bassett, flat-footed, walk-in type fighter, was really in condition, and he really deserved the chance to fight Sandy Sadler after this fight. He took a lot, but he come on strong, and he could punch.
Well, I hope it hasn't taken too much out of him.
Joe, there's no doubt about you being a main eventer. I've watched you play ball for years, and you always kept punching. This pair of golden gloves are my little memento to all my guests, a reminder to always keep punching, and you'll always be a main eventer.
Thank you, Rocky. It's very nice. I'm sure I'm going to have this right in my trophy room.
Great. The bigger they are, the nicer they are, and you could make it too. So just follow my simple motto. Left hand high, chin down, and keep punching.